Welcome to Adobe Illustrator. This video will guide you through the overall interface of Illustrator. First of all, select Create New, unless you're opening another file that's pre-saved. Work out what the intent for the design is. Is it for print or is it for web? Is it for a digital display? And that's going to change the presets that you're going to be selecting. So if generally you're going to be doing for A4 or potentially A3 in size. So for this one I'm going to go A4. I'm going to make sure the orientation is portrait or landscape. Artboards is how many pages it is. So if it's multiple pages, select a few of those. And as a print, it's going to be a CMYK color mode. If you're doing it for web, it's going to be an RGB. So the colors will be slightly different. Select Create when you're happy. This is going to be the A4 page. So you can have designs displaying off the page. They just won't save as an exported file. They'll save within the Illustrator file, but not within a PDF or a JPEG, nor would they print. The interface consists of, on the left-hand side, is the toolbox. So it can be expanded or minimized, and you can drag it off into the page if need be. I tend to like it displayed that way. You have the selection tool and the direct selection tool. Any tool that has a little triangle in the bottom right hand corner, that has other tools that relate. So if I hold down the click on type, we've got type tool, type along a path, vertical type along a path, type area, so on and so forth. If you're going to be using this tool or these tools frequently, you can also remove that whole tab. You can go through and minimize it, or you can remove it and it'll be available for access later. Navigating around the page can be done by using the hand tool, using the zoom tool. However, Adobe has some great hotkeys, which you'll come to learn pretty quickly. So Control minus and plus will zoom in and out. Control 0 will snap the page within the viewable area. And using the space bar with any tool selected will allow you to pan around the page. I've just copied in some shapes here. So Illustrator is a vector-based program. What that means is it doesn't pixelate. So it works with points, or what we call anchor points. And so if I use a direct selection tool, that's these points, the 4 points around the shape, and then the path of the line in between those points. So it works really well with displaying, obviously, shapes. Great program for creating logos, page layout, posters, dealing with type really well. However, it doesn't deal very well with photo manipulation. And so you'll be undertaking that in Photoshop and then bringing that file across. Selecting objects. So this directs the selection tool that selects the whole object, whereas the direct selection tool that selects a point within that object. In Illustrator, you don't necessarily have to use layers quite as much, because selecting objects is a lot easier than it is in Photoshop. So I'll be selecting an object. I can hold Shift and select multiple objects, or I can select a Shift, or I'll be holding Shift again and delete, unselecting an object. Copying an object is the regular Control-C, Control-V. However, often you want to duplicate an object, and that's just selecting Alt over an object that's already selected and then clicking and dragging it out. And you can see it's referencing where it's going to be. So it will snap to certain areas and distribute a design over an area quite well. Along the top, you have the options bar, and it will change accordingly to what tool is selected. So at the moment, we've been dealing with shapes, so it's all relating to shapes and changing its thickness of the outline or the stroke we call it. If I select the type tool, it starts to give me options in dealing with the character or changing the font, changing the tracking, changing the point size, so on and so forth. Along the right hand side we have the palettes, and they can be expanded and minimized, and they can be removed into the display or rearranged and expanded as well. Along with, at the top we've got window, and my videos I have created in is under the Essentials Classic. Your default will more likely appear like this, and so this is just under Window, Workspace and Essentials. I don't necessarily like this display because not all the tools are quite as visible on the screen. So I suggest you select Essentials Classic for learning the program, and then you'll become more familiar with them, and all the videos in the playlist are under that interface. Moving on to rulers, so viewing and arranging things, you're going to want to include a ruler, so you can show that. This is obviously within centimeters. Actually, no, it's not. It's in pixels for some reason. You can change that to right click and then change it into millimeters. And then off those rulers, you can create guides, so it's a lot easier to group and arrange within a grid. These guides, they do not print, and they can be removed or just moved later and even displayed out within that space. That's pretty much all of it. Some of the videos that I've created in this playlist are in an older version on a Mac, so the interface might change a little bit in terms of the colors, but where the tools are and the options, it should all be aligning. Thanks for watching.